It's still Daybreak on Trust TV, and of course, this is the newspaper headline segment of the program where we get to tell you and show you what the national dailies are carrying on their front pages. And of course, as is customary, I have a copy of the Daily Trust with me. Daily Trust lead story says Niger Governor Deputy Speaker travel for Hajj. 3 killed as another mining site collapses. Over 50 yet to be rescued from first incident. There's lack of empathy. That story is on page 4. And atop the page, we see other stories there which states, troops kill bandit leader Buhari Yadi, others in Kaduna. Also, Federal High Court asserts jurisdiction to hear Kano Emirate dispute. World Bank to CBN, interest rate hikes will not control inflation. That story is also on page 4. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Daily Trust this morning. And we move quickly to the Guardian newspaper, front page of which states World Blood Donor Day. Risky black market booms as many shun voluntary donation. And we see sort of an infographic there. It says someone needs blood every 2 seconds. One donation can potentially save up to 3 lives. Only about 25% of the country's blood needs are collected. Nigeria has one of the lowest rates of voluntary non-remunerated blood donation in Africa, and about 90% of blood donations are sourced from paid donors. 1 pint of blood is taken during a regular blood donation. Hospitals rely heavily on family replacement blood donation due to poor culture of voluntary blood donation. Emotional and financial distress taking a toll on blood donors. Now that's the infographic there. Expensive away games, poverty, profit, performance, hobble demand for local league. That's also a big story, pages 4 and 5. Below that, we see costs of Rams soar as Muslim faithful prepare for Salah celebration, of course. And beside that, we see labor to demand minimum wage arrears as governors, employers meet tinubu. Page 3 has that story. Clark, CIEN re-echo restructuring calls after Democracy Day celebration. Page 6. Cholera. Nigeria records 30 deaths, 1,206 cases. That story is on page 3. Also, Nigeria's 289 delegates, largest at ILO conference in Geneva. When we talk about the new minimum wage, we also talk about the size of the delegation of Nigeria that's currently attending the International Labour Organization conference in Geneva. Police ban Durbar in Kano over emirship tussle. If you understand the Durbar, you would know that the Durbar would usually have in attendance the emir of Kano, and in this situation currently where we have 2 emirs, of course, Emir Sanusi, Mohammed Sanusi II, and of course Emir Ado Bayero. I understand that the police had to ban the Durbar for the sake of security. And also, pastor bags life imprisonment for sexual assault in Ekiti. And these are some of the stories on the front page of The Guardian. And we now go to Vanguard newspaper. Vanguard on Friday has motorcycle import rises 205% to 73.59 billion naira. That's the story atop the page. Also on the politics page, Sanusi, how I want to be remembered as Emir of Kano. Beside that, state of the nation, there's hunger, new anthem not priority. That's according to Makinde. Also, local government autonomy, Supreme Court reserves judgment on federal government suit against 36 governors. There you have it. Also below the masthead, we see the lead story there which says hardship. Labour kicks as 20 states deny workers' wage award. says its height of insensitivity. 15 states comply with Tinubu plea. 6 pay briefly stop. Workers get wage rise. Palliatives in Lagos, Edo, Enugu, Osun, others. Rivers, Akwa Ibom wait for federal government's official announcement. Delta sets up committee. Also, we have minimum wage will pay what we can afford. That's according to Tinubu. Promises to send executive bill to National Assembly. Says fall at Eagle Square is idobale for democracy. Besides that, we see Soul Makers Ministry marks Heart Day June 16. And also Senate passed 25 legislation, 115 resolutions in 1 year. That's according to the Senate leader. Finally, NCDC alerts on cholera outbreak. These are some of the stories, of course, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper on Friday. And for the Nigerian Tribune, just above the masthead, we see police ban Durbar activities during Eid al-Kabir in Kano. Court affirms jurisdiction to hear Bayero's right suit. Page 3 has that story on the Nigerian Tribune. Also, Supreme Court reserves judgment on federal government suit seeking autonomy on local governments. These stories are replicated on Tribune just as they were on other newspaper front pages. Lead story here says Labour will demand minimum wage arrears. NLC TUC wants federal government to consult workers before submitting figure to NAS. Also, local government autonomy. Federal government pointing accusing fingers at state. That state governments, Makinde, mandates council chairman to fix 30-kilometer roads each, to invest 15 billion naira yearly to reduce school infrastructure deficit. Also, Tinubu replaces Ben Akabweze with Tanimu Yakubu as DG Budget Office. Below that, Nigeria's inflation rate hits 34.37%, says Cape Economic Research. 400-level Delsu student feigns kidnap to extort 50 million naira worth Bitcoin from dad. Troops arrest suspected killers of 5 soldiers in Aba. Implement 2014 confab report now. Clark tells Tinubu wants Igbo treated better. And Olubadan designate inspects new palace. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune on Friday. And we now move to the Punch newspaper. Front page says federal government eyes fresh $500 million World Bank loan for rural roads. Local government funds. Supreme Court reserves judgment as states battle AGF. NNPC withdraws suit against ExxonMobil. Seplat $1.28 billion deal. Also, beside the masthead, we see 45 billion naira has been spent on Elizade Varsity, says Adeojo. A lead story, Dangote refinery plans 5.3 billion liters fuel storage with 600 million liters more storage capacity. Our plant will become strategic reserves. That's according to Dangote. Below the pictorial there, of course, we see pictures of buyers, do I say buyers, at livestock markets trying to purchase sheep and rams ahead of the Eid al-Kabir Salah celebration coming on Sunday. Buyers in last-minute rush for Salah rams that meant exorbitant cost. We hear that prices go as high as 250,000 naira to even up to $1 million, depending on the size of ram you intend to purchase. Unremitted gas royalty, flare penalty hits $1.4 billion. That's according to Nati. Also, four to die by hanging for robbery, murder in Ekiti. And 62,000 naira minimum wage. Labour folds politicians' jumbo pay. National Assembly gets bill after Salah. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And that's the much we can take on newspaper headlines. If you want to read up on details of any of the stories that you're seeing on any of the front pages, do get a copy of any of the newspapers. For the Daily Trust, grab a copy to read more on the story on the mining collapse in Niger State, and as well much more on developments in and across Nigeria. And with that, that wraps up Daybreak this morning. It's been a lovely conversation from 8 a.m. when the program started till this moment, running through the phone-in and discussion segment on Daybreak Interactive to the discussion segment with Dr. Umar Binder, where we spoke, about a variety of issues, including social welfare and the national minimum wage. I hope you've enjoyed the program till this point, and if you want to catch up on all of these discussions, you could simply do so by logging on to our live YouTube stream at Trust TV, and also catching up across all of our social platforms on Facebook, Instagram, X, and also TikTok. From me, it's thank you so much for watching. Do have a lovely weekend. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. Sport updates comes up at the top of the hour.